What is going on, everybody? My name is Nico and welcome back to another Pokemon video. Today, folks, I'm going to discuss why I believe that Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are actually going to be the next mainline Pokemon game. I've got a lot of things I want to talk about in regards to this. I think this is not just a remake spin-off like Let's Go was. I think this is going to be treated as the next mainline Pokemon game. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about that. But if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you are subscribed for more Pokemon content in the future. Here we go. So I made a video talking about this a while back, and it was more in regards to if this game was going to be the next VGC game. And in that video, I expressed that I could see it going either way. I could see this being the new VGC game, or I could see us getting, maybe an update to Sword and Shield that allowed us to transfer a lot of the missing Pokemon into Sword and Shield, and then they could just continue making new formats in that particular game. However, now that we have kind of progressed a little bit in Sword and Shield, now that we're like 100 days out from this particular game being released, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are going to be the next VGC games, the next mainline Pokemon games. Now, I'm going to talk about the reasons behind this, and Moxie Boosted also made a video about this, comparing, why he believed this was going to be the next VGC game. But there are some other elements to it that he left out of his video that I kind of wanted to touch on in this video. First up, there is the idea that there will be platinum elements in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. There's no reason to believe that they wouldn't include, like the distortion world and things like that in the post game. They say the initial story is going to be a faithful retelling, which I get. I really do get that. I think that makes sense for this particular remake, but it doesn't make sense to exclude all of the other Pokemon that were introduced in Platinum and not just in Diamond and Pearl. So I have the original Diamond and Pearl Pokedex right here. If you look at it, you're missing things once we scroll down to the bottom, such as, Dusknoir, Electivire, Magmortar, things of that nature. We are missing a lot of Pokemon like that. Where if we go to the Platinum Pokedex, and we scroll down, you're going to see those Pokemon. They're going to be a little bit lower here. Good lord, this is long Pokedex. But yeah, you see things like Leafeon, Glaceon, you see Togekiss. A lot of the Pokemon that got additional upgrades came in Platinum and not in the original Diamond and Pearl. So things like Magnezone, Tangrowth, Yanmega, all those Pokemon are Gen 4 Pokemon. So it makes very little sense in my mind for them to exclude all of these new Pokemon that weren't introduced in this generation from these particular remakes, which leads me to believe that a lot of the Platinum features are still going to be in this particular remake. This also expands a lot of the Pokedex. There's a lot more Pokemon in Platinum than there were in Diamond and Pearl, and I think that just makes more sense when you're going to remake these games and just make certain certain Pokemon from this be one version or the other. Just make some version exclusive, and then you solve the whole problem all around, and then that's just how they will progress moving forward. I think this makes sense to include the Platinum decks, especially if this is going to be the VGC format. That gives us a lot more Pokemon to work with in the first, couple months of the format. On top of that, it just adds a lot more variety than what we got in Diamond and Pearl. Another thing to note is the addition of certain Pokemon such as Rapidash. In previous entries, in Sword and Shield specifically, if there was a certain version or a certain regional form of a Pokemon included, there was a way to obtain the alternate form. So, like Ponyta, Rapidash, those Pokemon were eventually added to Sword and Shield, so that way you were able to have those additional variants of those Pokemon. So I think that makes a lot of sense in this regard as well, is they just add the regional variants that are available in the Sinnoh, add those Pokemon to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl in the post-game format. Now, they have also mentioned that this is going to be a faithful retelling. They didn't say what the post-game was going to turn into, and the post-game could be dramatically different from what we have already gotten. If I bring us over here to the official Diamond and Pearl page, it says the original story has been faithfully reproduced. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't additional stuff. That means that the story that they are telling is the exact same as the original game. That doesn't mean that there is an exclusion of Platinum Pokemon. That doesn't mean there's an exclusion of regional variants. That doesn't mean there is an exclusion of, different format options that have been brought in over the years, like Tailwind and things of that nature. There are a lot of things that could be included into this particular game and preserve the original story. The story can be the exact same with the new Pokemon being added to this particular game. On top of that, if this is as faithful a reproduction as they say, this game does include a national dex. I want that to sink in. Diamond and Pearl included a national Pokedex in the original game. So if this is going to be a very faithful reproduction, then they will likely have a national dex in the post game, just like the original game did. And that is something you have to consider, is that this could be the kind of middle ground where we didn't get the national dex in Sword and Shield, and then they decided to go with this chibi art style to have, you know, less resources used. Maybe it cuts back on a lot of the file sizes or whatever it may be. It makes it easier to add things like the national dex so the battles can be better because there's more Pokemon to use. There's a lot of variables here that are just unknown, and that makes more sense. You know, we haven't seen an art style like this since the DS days, and all those games had, you know, national Pokedexes. So it kind of makes sense that on the scale of something that would be running on the Nintendo Switch, that we get a smaller scale thing so they can focus more on the battles. I think that makes a lot of sense, especially when these original games had the national Pokedex, and the company producing this is the company that worked on Pokemon Home. So I think there is going to be almost immediate Pokemon Home support, and there's going to be a national dex, and there's going to be some mix up in the post game stuff that is going to affect how we bring in Pokemon from the previous game. And I mentioned this briefly in the original VGC video that I talked about how this game could or could not be the next VGC game. I really think that the way they go about this, if they continue with the chibi art style in future remakes, you know, like with black and white and things like that, I could really see them doing something along the lines of having the middle ground remake game be the new, like, national dex game where they, you know, sum everything up, they throw all the Pokemon in, and that is your new national dex game. And then whatever the next generation will be will have the limited Pokedex, much like Sword and Shield did, and then they go back and forth. And then when the next remake comes out, you're able to move all the Pokemon from the previous generation into that new remake. That makes a lot of sense when you look at this game specifically, and, you know, the change in the art style, the sudden switch from one style to another. I think there could be something there. On top of that, we just haven't heard anything in regards to, you know, there being any new DLC coming for Pokemon Sword and Shield. There has been rumors, and, you know, there's videos with red arrows in the thumbnails talking about, you know, the possible third DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And honestly, I think at this point, we need to get away from Sword and Shield. I think at this point, we've had the game 2 years. It's time for a shakeup in the metagame. And I think it just makes the most sense. If you look at the current series of Pokemon VGC in Sword and Shield, there's definitely an indicator in that as well on whether or not Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are going to be the next VGC games. The current rule set for Pokemon Sword and Shield VGC is a restricted format where you're able to have one restricted Pokemon per team. However, they have completely removed the Dynamax mechanic. Now, I could definitely see this being a way for Pokemon basically saying, hey, you had your fun with Dynamaxing, much like they did with Megas. We're going to stray away from that at this point. You're done with the Dynamaxing, and we're going to get you back to a non-Dynamaxing format, because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl doesn't have Dynamaxing, and that is going to be your new VGC game. I could definitely see the Series 10 being a way for them to wean us off of what was the Dynamaxing format and now getting back into how Pokemon used to be played in previous iterations. I also don't think there's going to be Megas or Dynamaxing in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I really don't think that's going to be a thing. I think they're going to make it, you know, just a base format, and then whatever Gen 9 is going to be, that is going to introduce some new gimmick, because there always is one. That is going to be the thing that introduces the new gimmick that really, you know, takes over as the new Mega Evolution or the new Dynamax mechanic in that particular generation. Until we get whatever Gen 9 is, I think we're going back to the standard formats without Megas, without Dynamaxing. I think that makes the most sense when you look at what Series 10 is. It's the first series in VGC in Pokemon Sword and Shield that hasn't had a Dynamax mechanic. And that's weird considering how close we are to the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl release dates. But that is all I have for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below. Do you guys think this is going to be, you know, the new mainline Pokemon game, the new VGC game? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. But like I said, that is it. If you found the video entertaining and helpful, leave a like and smash the subscribe button for more videos like this in the future. Be sure to check out Enter the Chat, the Discord, all that fun stuff. If you're interested in keeping up with me, this channel, the stream, or anything like that, like I said, that's it for this one. Hope to see you all in the next one.